Chiefs Kingdom, we got some cut candidates to get into in just a moment, but wanted to update you guys on the month of June, which is all about likes. Losing to a couple of channels that I don't think we should be losing to. Our Steelers channel over 8,000 likes. Seahawks over 6,000. We're almost at 6,000 here on the Chiefs Report. Hell, we're barely beating those pesky Lions fans over on our Lions channel here at Chat Sports. Help us out. Like this video. Let's at least pass the Seahawks before the end of the month of June. And let's keep it moving here on the Chiefs Report. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. We haven't had a video in the last couple of days because I've been busy with some other stuff here at Chat Sports. But today, we're going to take a look at some cut candidates as ESPN released their first 53-man roster for the Chiefs, and I thought there were some notable players that were excluded. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Shane Buechele, the first notable cut. ESPN has the Chiefs keeping just two quarterbacks, that of course being Patrick Mahomes and Chad Henne. Buechele did spend some time on the roster last year as he was called up later in the season. If he's cut, Buechele could of course be on the practice squad, but there's always a risk that another team could pick him up. Now obviously Mahomes is going to be the starter. Chad Henne appears to be in line to be the backup unless Buechele makes a push. The question is, will Kansas City carry three quarterbacks or just two? Now, Buechele in the preseason last year played pretty well. 67%, over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. He's a bit of a gunslinger, willing to put the ball in harm's way. I like his potential as a long-term backup. We'll just have to wait and see if he can get to that level. Now, name a player that you want to cut. List someone out there on the Chiefs that you're like, you don't think they're worthy of being on the roster. Maybe you don't want Chad Henne and you want to cut him. Maybe you want to cut Shane Buechele. Let me know down in the comments section. Josh Gordon is next up here as the Chiefs brought him back this offseason, giving him another chance. He did not make the cut on ESPN's early roster projection. Didn't make an impact really at all last year, and obviously he doesn't offer special teams value. So if he's going to make this roster, he's going to have a strong training camp and prove that he can make some plays as a receiver because he's not going to do that as a special teams guy. You look at the Chiefs roster at receiver, these are the 5 guys ESPN has making it. Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, Sky Moore, and then Darius Fountain would be that 5th guy because he does have special teams value. I think after the top 4, Fountain, Gordon, Justyn Ross, Cornell Powell, these guys are going to compete for 1 or 2 spots. It'll just have to depend how many the Chiefs want to keep. Now, Gordon's obviously been in and out of the NFL for several years now. Last year just had 5 catches, did have the 1 touchdown. 2018-19 did okay. 2017 didn't do much, but he's got talent. It's just you wonder how much does he have left at this point, and if he's not going to contribute on special teams, where are his contributions going to come from? I think that's a fair question to ask, and one that the Chiefs will be asking themselves when they make these tough roster decisions. Will Josh Gordon make the Chiefs roster? Predict it for us down in the comments. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think he's right there on the bubble. Curious to see how he performs at training camp. Let's go to another receiver who I briefly mentioned a moment ago, Justyn Ross, the undrafted free agent out of Clemson. Now, he drew some early praise during OTAs especially, but a little bit at minicamp as well. Now, he certainly has talent, but injuries have hampered his career at Clemson, hampered his draft stock. Only 4 teams reportedly even had him medically available to draft, the Chiefs being one of those. And look, the Chiefs have a lot of competition at wide receiver, so Justyn Ross is going to have to excuse me, keep it moving here. What a sneeze that was. He's going to have to compete at wide receiver. His first couple of years at Clemson, he was terrific. 1,865 yards, 17 touchdowns. We've talked about this before. His freshman year in 2018, you're watching that game, the national championship against Alabama, you're like, this is the best player on the field. I mean, he could go to the NFL right now and compete, but injuries after that, the spinal fusion surgery he had to have, he's been through a lot, so he's going to have to prove himself as well at training camp. I do feel comfortable that he would make it to the practice squad if he did get cut, so you could continue to develop him down there. Now pick one to keep. Maybe one of them makes it. Type G for Gordon, type R for Ross. I would probably lean Justyn Ross just because he is the young player, but I do like Josh Gordon as well. I hope one or both of these guys get a fair shot. G for Gordon or R for Ross. Now give us a follow over on Rumble as well, as we also publish our videos over there. You can find free and uncensored content from us here at the Chiefs Report and other content creators. Sports, news, politics, tech, business. We have it all covered. You can keep listening to our videos with other apps open while you're on Rumble. If you get a text, you can text your buddies back. The video will still be playing. All good to go there. Some occasional exclusive Chiefs content. The link's right there, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Give us a follow and help us grow over on Rumble. Khalen Saunders next up here as, he's kind of up against it. Entering year 4, final year of his rookie contract, did not make the cut for ESPN. He was on the roster bubble last year. I think he will be again this year. Didn't get a lot of playing time a year ago. Obviously, the Chiefs could save a little money as well if they moved on from him. I do wonder, ESPN only has 8 defensive linemen making the roster. That feels a little bit light. I feel like a 9th or a 10th will make it somewhere, but Saunders was not on the early list in terms of making the roster. In his career, he just hasn't done much. 33 tackles, 1 sack, couple of quarterback hits. He's been a bit underwhelming early on in his career, and entering year 4 now, he's had time. He's had opportunities to make an impact. We'll see if this is the year he can put it all together or if he's a guy that could get cut. Rate the Chiefs' current roster, scale 1 to 100, 1 being this is the worst roster in the league, 100 being this team should win a Super Bowl this year. I think it's a good roster. There's certainly, I think the defensive line is a question mark, especially at defensive end. But I would put it at like 88, 90. This is a good team, good roster, good quarterback, obviously. Scale it from 1 to 100. Get more Chiefs videos by subscribing to the channel. We're less than 500 subs away from 31,000. Help us get there. Let's keep it moving here. Get the momentum back on our side. If you want more Chiefs videos, all you got to do is subscribe. It's 100% free. All right, last guy here, Lonnie Johnson, who the Chiefs traded for after the NFL draft, only gave up a 2024 conditional 7th. So, yeah, he's definitely a guy that could get cut. But I was surprised he didn't make the initial cut here from ESPN. Second-round pick a few years ago has not quite lived up to that, but he's got good experience. He has started a decent amount of games. Base salary of just over $1 million this year. That trade felt very similar to the Mike Hughes trade from last year, and he contributed for the Chiefs, so I think Lonnie Johnson could this year. You look at the projected depth chart, 11 DBs make it, but Lonnie Johnson not one of them. I was a little bit surprised by that on this ESPN roster projection. Could be battling a guy like DeAndre Baker for that final roster spot. I mean, last year he had 3 picks and 6 pass breakups. It's not bad whatsoever. He was okay in coverage, gave up 6 touchdowns for those wondering the coverage stats, but still had 3 picks, 6 pass breakups. I don't think it's that bad of a number for Lonnie Johnson, so we'll be curious to see kind of what the defensive back unit looks like as we get into training camp, into the preseason, and on into the regular season as well. So there you have it. 5 guys that could get cut based on ESPN's roster projection. Keep an eye out as training camp is just around the corner.